Africa is hosting the 17th ordinary session of the African Ministerial Conference on the Environment in Durban. The theme for the event is taking action for environmental sustainability and prosperity in Africa. This is happening at the Olive Convention Centre. The session will focus on how Africa can advance in the green economy. And to tell us more, we joined in our Durban studio by WESA Head of Membership at Wildlife Society for Southern Africa, Natanya Botha. Natanya, good to have you. Thanks very much for being with us on Morning Live.
Good morning, Leanne, and I hope to be of great support and tell you more about the convention that's currently in progress.
Excellent. So talk to us a little bit about this African Ministerial Conference on the Environment. What is it hoping to achieve?
Well, it's definitely hoping to achieve from a bottom-down approach for commitment towards the green and blue economy, and also just to have commitment from governments to see this transition that has to take place. And so it's really very intense, and we hope to have a good outcome of the conference.
Good. Well, I mean, so far we really do, if we look at the globe, we see that the Scandinavian countries are leading the way when it comes to green technology and the environment. How does Africa fit into this? How are we faring in the greater scheme of things?
Well, I would say we have to look at the fact that do we have the capacity and do we have the critical skills that is needed for the transition to happen. I don't think there's enough emphasis in Africa on environmental education and also the environment itself. We have to look at our minerals, our natural resources, our habitats and our biodiversity. And we have to have an inclusive approach with a grassroots, from a grassroots level. And we then have to say, do we really have the capacity for Africa for the transition to take place? And once we address the skill shortage in South Africa and the rest of Africa, then only will we be able to implement and advance the green economy as well as the blue economy and the wildlife economy.
So this theme this year that's being tackled, taking action for environmental sustainability and prosperity in Africa, although there seems to be a direction to greener technology and economy, it's not necessarily a cheaper route. Can Africa afford to go this route?
I think we should rather ask the question that it's not about affordability. I think Africa does have capital. It's more the skills. Do we have the skills to implement the technology? And do we have the capacity? In terms also of, I think we do have. And I think for Africa to just look at our current physical pollution that is happening, we have to address, and we have to have a mind shift from raising awareness to action. And this action will lead the way for us in Africa to take things forward.
In the previous AMCEN session, this was in Libreville in Gabon, it recognized the critical role of women entrepreneurs to increase the use of sustainable energy in Africa. I think what was also said, it was aware that that environmental pollution is an increasing problem in Africa, and that the major forms of pollution in Africa actually include indoor and outdoor air pollution. Has anything been done since then?
I think there is a lot that has been done in terms of legislation, but we also need to look at the fact that anyone who aims to cause or who are causing pollution must pay for pollution. I think that Africa can definitely increase the tax on pollution, especially air pollution, due to the fact that it is one of the major causes of deaths worldwide. And I would also like to touch base on waste pollution. I don't think that we have fully formalized the waste industry, and there is definitely a gap in terms of waste, and we just need to be more aggressive in terms of watchdogs and keep people accountable for air pollution and other physical pollutions that's taking place.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't agree with you more. So, through all of this, South Africa is actually taking over the presidency of AMCEN from Gabon for the next 2 years. What would you like to see South Africa do about the green economy and climate change in Africa?
I would definitely like to see them taking the lead in environmental education. My organization, the Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, is really in the forefront of environmental education, and we are here to help, we are here to guide and to govern. And if people are not educated on the environment, they will not know the value of what the environment can be for them, especially for future generations. We need to protect, we need to conserve, and we ultimately need to take care of what we have, because if we don't have it, what is going to be there for generations after us to take over? So I would really like to see South Africa and the rest of Africa to handle their minerals and their natural resources and habitats better. We have to take care of it.
All right, we'll have to leave it there, but thanks so much for talking to us. WESA Head of Membership at Wildlife Society for Southern Africa, Natanya Botha, the 17th Ordinary Session of the African Ministerial Conference on the Environment taking place in Durban. And the aim, as we've heard, is to see how Africa can advance in the green economy and combat climate change. South Africa taking over the presidency from Gabon for the next 2 years.